City of Yamhill, Wednesday, July 15th, 2026 at 6:30 PM. Can we have a roll call, please?
Featherston here. Husky here. Karen here.
Gordon here. And Counselor Kin has let us know that she would not be able to attend tonight. Moving on to the flag salute, if we could all rise for flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sweet. Do we have any agenda updates or additions? No, that's good. So we're starting out tonight with a presentation from AKS, which is our Parks Comprehensive Master Plan Final. Do we have our AKS people online?
All right, we're here. Good evening. Can you all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, thanks for having us back. I'm Zach Pells, I'm a land use planner with AKS, and I'm joined by Kirsty Hauswald, who's my colleague at AKS. We can be pretty brief tonight. I think we don't have a whole lot new to report. What we want to do is just kind of show you where we've included those few recommended edits that the mayor threw out at the end of our June 10th meeting. Answer any final questions that you have, and then kind of leave you with recommendations for next steps for legally adopting this thing. So I guess unless there's any questions to kick it off, I think we can jump right in.
Do we have any questions, Council?
All right.
Go ahead. Thanks.
So you remember and maybe I'll share my screen just to have something to throw up there. Oh, can I have permission to share my screen, please? Thank you. All right, so we met on June 10th. We ran through a presentation. Here, I'll give you the full screen view. Are you seeing my presenter view or the
presenter view, Zach?
Sure. All right, let's see here. All right. So we walked you through kind of this summary of what's included in that park system master plan. Kind of talking how, given the city's limited budget, we really worked hard to kind of front load projects early on that take advantage of the city's existing parks SDC revenues, which there are about $500,000 worth of currently in the city's budget. And also in a way that really takes advantage of future state monies. And to do that, we've tried to align those recommendations as closely as we can with the state's priorities for parks and recreational facilities development. That state parks plan is called the SCORP plan. And so we talked about that. And then we broke down a specific set of recommendations for each of the city's 3 parks. And so we're not going to go back through all that tonight. We concluded the meeting by asking the council if there were any questions or edits that they wanted to see made to the plan. And the mayor threw out a few ideas, and I'll show you where we have included those. So section 5 of the plan is the portion of the plan that talks about the recommendations. And so that section includes specific recommendations, again, for each of the city's 3 parks. Beulah Park, Jane Heinrich Park, and Jonathan Calhoun Memorial Park. And then we included an additional section at the end to memorialize those three recommendations from the mayor. And these are projects that we kind of described as projects for further consideration, given the amount of time we had, or I guess the lack of time we had to really drill down and evaluate these. We sort of just included a brief set of recommendations for how the city can allocate future monies to the extent that there are opportunities to do that. To one, develop a standardized downtown street palette, which was a good idea. The second recommendation was to consider whether it makes sense to redevelop unimproved rights of way for future linear parks or trails and pathways. So there's a few bullets regarding recommendations for how the city might approach that. And then the final recommendation was for the city to consider a new park near City Hall. That would be a Veterans Memorial Park. So those are the three changes that we had. Everything else remains the same as we talked about. And like I said, that set of revisions is included at the end of section 5, which again is the recommendation section of the Parks Master Plan. So maybe I'll pause there to just confirm with the mayor if this sort of accurately captures what you were intending, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for including it.
You bet. And then again, so I guess we left the discussion open following that June 10th meeting for any other counselors to give us feedback on other suggested edits. We didn't hear anything, and so this is the extent of those edits. To the extent that the council is now on board with this final plan, I guess the kind of the final thing we want to talk about is how you go about from having this final version of this plan now to get to the point where it actually is legally adopted. So that next step would be to so your park system master plan is a component of the city's comprehensive plan, and in order to amend your comprehensive plan, you need to pursue a legislative amendment. That is the process for which I guess is laid out in the city's zoning ordinance. It's actually section 10.132.060. Same as when you amend your zoning code or other similar legislative amendments that the city pursues. When you update your parks master plan, you need to prepare a staff report with a recommendation to the planning commission, and then the planning commission makes a recommendation to the city council, and the city council ultimately approves that through at least two separate hearings on the matter for the public to comment on that. Once the city council approves that plan formally through that legislative process, the city will review or hear an ordinance and adopt an ordinance that perfects this updated master plan and then makes it a legal supporting document to the city's comprehensive plan. So I guess assuming that this plan is in a form that the city council is on board with, we would recommend that you direct your staff to pursue that legislative amendment process as a next step.
We actually have that on our agenda for this evening to have that first step.
Fantastic. So that's really all we've got for you tonight. We are happy to answer or try to answer as many questions as any of you have.
I actually have a question.
Go ahead.
So in the plan, it appears, and this is where I need some clarification, that part of Public Works would be taken for parking. Is that correct? Or am I just misunderstanding that?
Yeah, so let's go to that. So we're talking about Jane Heinrich Park. This is the existing park we're looking at here. And this, I guess this is roughly identifying the footprint of this Public Works operation here. The plan that
Should be before that, Zach. Yeah.
before that.
Couple more down, I think.
So we got the existing conditions, the community survey results. Let's see
I
here.
take it back, Zach. It's the second to last page.
Okay.
I can answer briefly that the recommendation is not to take parking away from the public works building, but to enclose their current yard in a way that it's not directing traffic through it.
Okay, so
Does that answer your question?
on number 8 there, that looks like, is that not part of Public Works there? That's the field?
That's a kind of a dirt lot right now, not utilized terribly often by them.
Okay. So number 2, that looks like a road goes through there, and that looks like it's the backside of Public Works.
That road already exists.
It does?
Yeah, so you can enter Public Works from Third Street. Which would, I don't know, Jason, by this plan, would maybe your new entrance. Looks like you might have a gate. So these things are like, these are an overview, the AKS version of what this might look like.
Okay,
And so we're not bound to that. If when we get in there, there's, it's, somebody finds it reasonable to change something, we're not beholden to this 100%. This is just the great idea list.
okay.
Yep, that's exactly right. Yep. As this plan moves closer to implementation, there's a lot of individual steps that would refine this kind of concept.
So
What we
on this
heard-
diagram, where are you trying to drive the traffic through? Cause
Yeah,
if you come down 5, 6, you're coming through Public Works. If you come in 2, you're coming through Public Works.
So the idea, and this is in response to some feedback we heard from the public about some confusion about how you access this facility, is to make the entrance more formally off of Third Street rather than kind of relying on people to go through the Public Works yard once in a while. So kind of close this off, formally close the Public Works yard off to traffic, and put signage from Third Street to direct traffic to use this Third Street entrance.
Yeah, that would still be through the belly of Public Works,
Right.
even more so.
But again,
I
so
know.
those things are
Later.
all for way down the road. Like,
Yeah.
that's a morning with Jason and a cup of coffee and walking around and what works for him and his guys. There's other thoughts that I have about, an access maybe closer to the trail right there where the rocks are now, where
Yeah, just go around.
public
the
can get their
building.
cars in, still be on the outside of Public Works. But again, where we place fences and where we put signs, it's up to us at a later date.
Okay. That was a major concern for me, so
Sure.
that
Understandable, I get it. Anybody else?
I have a quick question, but it's not about like adding anything. I thought the like written types responses that you included in here were interesting. And I was wondering is it possible to get a copy of like all of them just to read out of curiosity?
All of the feedback from the
Yes.
online survey,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep, for sure.
They should be in this document, but we can provide just a print out of the actual form itself.
Okay.
Beautiful. Do you have any more for us, AKS?
I think that's, and Kirsty, unless you have anything to add, I think that's about the extent of what we had for you tonight, Council.
Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot of good work in there, so thanks for getting that all done for us.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work with you guys on
It
this.
has been, it's been a fun project.
Good.
Okay, well, if there's no other questions,
Back in touch as we start to move forward with everything.
fantastic.
Folks, have a great rest of your night.
Thanks,
Thank you.
too.
You too.
All right, goodbye.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, so that moves us along to public comment. So Yamhill encourages all citizens to comment on any city business. This is not a dialogue platform. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. For the future, if you need special accommodation or additional time, please contact City Hall in advance of the meeting. On our list tonight, we have, Mr. Houston, you did indicate if you'd like to speak. Did you want to?
No, I'm okay. I just observe.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming out tonight. And then, Lauren Randolph. I couldn't imagine a world where you didn't want to speak.
Lauren Randolph, 4th Street here in Yamhill. So I have a couple of questions, concerns. One of them is like immediate this week and another is future. It's my understanding that there is a concrete slab in Beulah Park for the dumpster placement when we have events like Derby Days, for the dumpster to be placed. Last year, it was placed next to my house in the grass, which takes up valuable parking spaces. And it created some horrible conditions with flies and smell and potential rodents. Thankfully, I have a couple of cats, but I would really like to make sure that this time it does go on the concrete slab. That would be greatly appreciated. And then on Beulah Park signage, again, I live right next to the park, and with the new addition going in, the signage for Beulah Park is on Hemlock on the east side next to the new house there. And people, when they come around the corner, they don't see that sign. It's also no longer relevant where it says it's 10 miles an hour speed limit, because technically it should probably be 20 miles an hour with it being within the city limits. And so my request, and this is a later comment and problem to solve, is that that sign be adjusted and moved to the park side, and maybe additional signage put in the park to remind people that it is only 10 miles an hour in the park. I've had to chase down too many teenagers in golf carts. I'm the golf cart lady. And recently, 2 young men in 2 separate vehicles at the same time racing to the park, spinning cookies in the gravel. Unfortunately, I didn't have my camera on, so I didn't get a license plate to be able to report it. But let me tell you, I know what those cars look like. And when I see their parents, I will notify them. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you.
One of those questions or one of those suggestions, just so you know, we do not control where they put the dumpster, but we can relay that message to
To the community club, for sure.
Yeah, because there is, my understanding,
There
is
is.
the concrete slab
There is.
specifically for it.
And every year I've been present for that. That's where they've put it. So that's an oddity for me. So, but anyways,
Mhm. All right, moving right along. Robert Davis.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm representing Yamhill Neighborhood Association. I have a prepared statement I'd like to read. The Yamhill Neighborhood Association would like to briefly bring to your attention several recent Oregon housing laws and significant changes that how cities review residential development. These changes are already affecting communities such as McMinnville and will likely impact future housing proposals here in Yamhill. As our planning commission is currently reviewing and updating portions of the city council's development and building codes, it is appropriate time to ensure those revisions align with the state's new requirements. What has changed? SB 1537 in 2024 allows mandatory adjustments for qualifying housing developments, reducing local authorities over parking, setbacks, building height, open space, and many design standards. SB 974, initiated in 2025, limits local review procedures, shortens review timelines, and exempts many larger housing developments from portions of their local design review. HB 4037 in 2026 reduces public noticing requirements and, in many circumstances, limits appeals to the applicant rather than the public or neighboring property owners. Why this matters to Yamhill and Carlton? These laws substantially change the role of local governments. McMinnville has acknowledged that staff has struggled to keep pace with a volume of new legislation and has obtained grant funding to update its development code with legal assistance. As Yamhill Planning Commission continues revising the city's code development and building codes, this is an opportunity to ensure those revisions reflect current state law while preserving every area of local authority still permitted. The Planning Commission role. The Planning Commission role serves as the city's first line of defense in adapting these legislative changes. Reviews the city's development code in light of SB 1537, SB 974, and HB 4037. Work closely with the city attorney and planning consultants to identify which local standards remain enforceable. Recommend code amendments that maintains Yamhill's community character while complying with state law. Provide the city council with clear recommendations before future housing developments are submitted. Our council recommendations is these code revisions moved through the planning commission. We encourage the council to receive periodic progress reports so the governing body remains informed and how state legislation is changing local decision-making authority. This will help ensure the council is prepared to make informed policy decisions before significant development applications are received. Thank you for your continued leadership and support in our community.
The rehearsal. Nicely done, Bob. Thank you. All right. Is there anybody online that would like to comment? And I assume I have never got my wish about the mailed in letter.
I did receive some correspondence.
That needs to be read now. That's great.
And I didn't sign in. I have a Yamhill Downtown Association update that I can certainly provide during the economic development.
Let's do that. Let's double those. Yeah.
You want to start with in-house?
She's going to do hers at the same time as the economic development.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Snail mail.
So is there anyone online that would like to make a public comment? If so, please raise your hand or press star 9 if you're on the phone. I don't see any hands raised. And the correspondence I received just this evening. Dear Mayor Corrigan, as a resident of the city of Yamhill, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to you and the city council for all your continued service. Your commitment and dedication to the needs and concerns of the community have not been unnoticed. We as a community have truly benefited from your efforts. Thank you again for all you do. Concerning Yamhill citizens.
Did you write that?
Wow, she did.
I don't know if I believe that, but thank you, concerned citizen. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Handwriting analysis to be done later.
Yes, somebody call me. All right, so if that is it for public comment, we can move on to department reports. And so I'm gonna again combine city administrator and mayor reports. And let's get a little all over the place this time. So we were actually in discussion with the city of Hillsborough about Barney Reservoir and their potential of purchasing water from them. From what I understand from their board members, they only meet quarterly and they don't typically entertain anybody that would like to purchase water from them. They entertained us for a little while before they said no. But all that to say, they thought about us. We had a good proposal for them. We were encouraged to come back at the next quarterly meeting, which we will continue to do tenaciously until we get some water. All that to say, when that was done, I got on the phone with AKS and we started researching, and I'm sorry to spring this on you. I promise you no surprises in meetings, and here's one. We're looking at the possibility of ASR wells, which would be a well that works in reverse. In the wintertime, when we have an abundance of water on Turner Creek, we will start pumping water down into the ground, into the aquifer where we pressurize and store it for the summer. Geotech studies for such a well would fall under the scope of the Merkley grant, according to AKS. So we're gonna look into that, so we may have funding to check for those. I had a meeting today with Shannon at Carlton, who is also looking at ASR wells. The mobilization for the geotech studies could be utilized by both cities, cutting cost. And running their well at their treatment plant, ours towards our treatment plant. And then the potential for an intertie someday between the two cities for emergencies, cleaning and dredging of an impound, for example. Early stage conversations, but those are things that we did. Met last week with all the mayors, most of the mayors, Dayton, Amity, Lafayette, McMinnville, and Dundee, along with Sam Elliott, our sheriff, for some updates and explanations on YCOM and the funding in the future for it. We have some work coming up in front of us to make sure that those systems stay up to date and usable. I bet you know about that. And then Angie, this is your time for your fancy update.
Just today, someone updated us on the Facebook that there was a sighting of Jeff.
No.
Yep.
Yes.
Jeff, Counselor is our sort of town mascot almost. He's a beaver that we found in our park. And our Counselor Askey has recommended that we named him Jeff. And by unanimous decision for council, his name is Jeff the Beaver.
We thought he'd moved away.
But he's been found. The lost is found.
Yes, there's also been a beaver noticed at Rolling Creek, so they're wondering if Jeff may be going
Wandering
back and
around.
forth.
Where
Yes,
is that?
I'm not sure.
Roland Creek goes up towards Yamhill Road and like Friar Road and stuff. Creek up there.
Interesting. Good to know.
Derby Days this weekend. So I hope all the counselors, you guys are gonna try to be there for it if you can. And remember the detour. So we'll talk about that later as well, but if your friends, family, whoever needs to know, the highway's gonna be out Pike and then down Olive. So during the course of the parade, like every year. And now to the next step of things. I would recommend all people on all committees, all subcommittees, counselors, myself, be very cautious on Facebook, social media of any kind. If you write it down, it's public record if it has to do with your office in any way, shape, or form. If you publish something on Facebook regarding your office or the city and then delete it, that is destruction of public record. And that's reportable, mandatory to Department of Justice. It's kind of a big deal. So please be careful. Also, beware the Yamhill Billy, because he'll come get you too.
If you do accidentally do something, there's ways to unpublish it without deleting it, so then you're not destroying anything.
Yes, so
There are ways to rectify a mistake.
that is 100% true, but don't just delete stuff. And best of all, don't post stuff on social media. I mean, it's your First Amendment right to do it, but boy, be careful. Then moving right along to our police service fees. I just kind of want to discuss, just a reminder for everybody how that came about. Police service fees, there was 2 different ordinances that went in the same year. So everybody always had a water bill. And then we had ordinance 532, which I believe was May of 21, which established a police service fee. In July of the same year, we put in another ordinance, 533, which is for stormwater. If you are one of these people who have decided not to pay your police service fee, you're still paying your police service fee. The way these ordinances were written, and not by design, but just in fact, is if you do not pay your entire utility bill, the first portion goes to water, the second portion goes to the police fee, and the final portion goes to your stormwater. The city cannot and would not shut off somebody's water for not paying their police service fee. However, if you do not pay your stormwater fee, your water will be shut off. There are remedies in 532 and 533, if you have a grievance that would like to be addressed, there is a way to do that. But writing on the bottom of your water bill that you're not paying for, the police service fee in particular does not satisfy that. Nor would it if you, on your cell phone, you said, I'm not paying the Wycom emergency service fee. They would still turn your phone off. I would hate to see anybody's water get turned off. It does take quite a while because, you know, we're pretty lenient, but that is not the way to do that. Please reach out to the city and we will explain to the best of our abilities how things would work. And you can keep your water on. Final thing is, we have, if anybody from any council or committees, subcommittees, what have you, would like to look over the Yamhill rules and procedures for council meetings, which would also apply with Robert's rules to all of the other committees and subcommittees. Copies of this can be made available for you. It's just a good idea for everybody to kind of review on. Counselors, make sure that we know what we're doing there because it can be important. And then the last thing to touch on police service fees. I just randomly went through a couple of other cities that actually have this. Florence is $18. This is not cities that have fire and police combined. Florence has an $18 police service fee. Gresham is $15. Kaiser is $10.62. I looked for some that were reasonably close to ours and came up with Sutherland at $6 and Philomath at $5. They're being used in quite a few cities. It's legal to use them. And we need to, with the way that things are set with House Bill 5 and Measure 50. This is the way that we can continue to fund a very good police department. So that is all I have there. And so moving right along, city staff reports. Do you want to go, Angie, or would you like me to?
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so Angie, actually, our recorder, well, the last month, she actually took us through city caucus. And we have 2 council seats open up for election, and the mayor, my term will expire this year. So the city ticket would be myself and Patty Perrin. Congratulations, Counselor.
Thank you.
And we have introduced Lauren Randolph, whose filing has been completed for the other city council position. She went to the professional development in Tacoma and she was there on scholarship. She's done lots of other really cool things, including helping me get ready for some stuff for Derby Days today. Couldn't do this thing without her, so that's amazing. Lots of other cool stuff. But moving right along into the finance, our finance manager is out for a couple of weeks with a scheduled surgery. Although nothing outstanding or remarkable was explained to me in the revenue and expenditures. I guess I can move right into the police department. Chief is not with us this evening, so calls and activities. So I just want to say this, these numbers would reflect slightly less. Officer Livingston came back full time, I guess the 21st, I think was his first day back. So those numbers reflect Chief for the full month and only a portion for Livingston. But we did have 135 calls and activity. Case reports were 5. Nobody got arrested. Municipal vice citations were 18. Warnings were 45. Citizen calls for service that were answered 24 and initiated contacts from officers 34. So Chief worked 160 hours. Livingston 163. Those hours count when he's at academy. Chief put on 1,156 miles and Livingston was able to rack up 564, and boy, he's moving out there today. So follow the speed signs. The rest of it, Council, I think you've looked through his Chief's report. Anybody have any questions on that?
I just have a quick question about Andrew. do we have any kind of time frame when he's going to be
Yeah,
done
Yeah.
with his training or whatever you want to call
but
it,
we don't have a date because the thing is, he has a full-time job.
right?
And he's able to train whenever he can,
Right.
and the training is not a specific amount of time, from what I understand. It has more to do with getting the job done.
Yeah, exposure to the certain call types. Like
Yes.
Yamhill may only have 2 domestics, in a 6-month period, and if Andrew doesn't happen to be working during it, he's not gonna get exposed to that other than just scenarios.
So
Right, so-
one thing that we're doing with Officer Livingston, who is finishing his FTEP, is he's actually going out with the county. So he can go to areas of the county,
Who is?
Officer Livingston.
Oh, okay.
So as he finishes his FTEP, we're sending him to places where things are likely to happen. They're not
Okay.
likely to happen here so much.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have an exact date, but as soon as possible, and I know everybody is working very hard to make sure that he is ready to go as soon as possible.
And he's a second set of eyes, ears, hands,
Yep.
every time he's in the car with one of these guys.
Absolutely.
Right. But I get asked periodically when he's gonna be able to, be out and about and that kind of thing, and I always say I have no idea.
No, and we won't have an idea until we get closer to that date, and then as we start to get a good idea, of course, the council will know, because we're excited for it too. If nobody had any question on the staff report for the police,
No.
then we move along to Public Works.
Yeah, first off, anybody have any questions? for council?
Yep,
Go for it.
always.
Yep.
How are we doing on water?
Yeah, so we haven't even released the impound yet at this time. So we've been running completely from the creek. Has been supplying all of our distribution. So yeah, there again, just to reiterate, we have not released the impound.
So do you anticipate
Yes,
that we're gonna have to go to,
yes.
Well, hold on, don't say yes until, say what it was.
it doesn't matter. Whether it's a level 1 or 2 or whatever, if we're in that great a shape at this point, I'm gonna make the assumption that it's with the additional subdivision and all of that, that we're gonna have to start watching at least how much we're using and not watering our lawns at 3 o'clock in the afternoon and that kind of thing.
Okay, those are always good ideas. But honestly, have we been this deep into the season without releasing for the impound recently?
Don't believe so, not in my 5.5-year tenure.
It's a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
Now, the thing, right, and I'm speaking from my thoughts, so if I'm incorrect, please correct. But it's a good thing to be this late into the year and not have spilt anything out.
I mean, it all goes back to basically our leak prevention. Like we said, we were at, in the high 40s, 50s, possibly even the 60s at one point. Now you're down to 6% water loss. I
Wow,
mean,
that's great.
That's, kudos to the public works staff and all.
100%.
And all its, subcontractors along with that. So, yeah, I think we've done a phenomenal job, not, only as a distribution side, but managing the production from what we get out of that creek and knowing how to really kind of, for better or less terms, kind of tamper with that creek and keep the flows kind of consistent. I mean, preferably in the years past, like we can see all the trending, like we were pulling and drawing 420 gallons, 415 gallons out of that. Now we've consistently rode a 380 gallon wave that's been feeding the city, very.
That's a big difference, honestly, when we're in low.
Yeah, so to answer that question, going backwards, yeah, we have not released the impound, which is a massive positive right now. Yes, I guess I was answering some of the questions preemptively, but we will be releasing the impound probably early part of August. So
But much later than normal.
much later than normal.
Fantastic.
So would it be recommended that there be some kind of a curve at this point as far as,
You guys are already at a level 1, and which kind of indicates that educational piece.
yeah,
We don't have the staffing to go out and kind of control and patrol
right,
what's
right.
going on with water. So that's out there, that's on the table. It's pretty informative. I'd suggest everybody read up on it. collect that knowledge and, you know, use it to the advantage for all of us as far as all the residents involved. What I've seen, you know, just being a man without town and throughout town, a lot smarter as far as the irrigation aspect.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, that's
even,
positive
even the new subdivisions have done a wonderful job. You know, it seems like their timers are, you know, set correctly. I mean, not everyone's, but you know, that 90, 80 percentile. Yeah, so. Yeah, it's been a process, but it's been a rewarding process that's came out with some great, you know, in the end, some great results.
Good. Okay.
So, mhm.
Amazing.
Yep.
Do you have more for us, Jason?
I do. I know everybody read the report. I just kind of want to catch everybody up. So we've been doing a lot of I&I lately, and we've kind of found the solution. We're started epoxy coating all of these manholes where we're getting a lot of I&I, and that relates to our collections and, you know, wastewater treatment aspect. But I will say, granted, it's kind of the latter part of our season with I&I, but we've seen tremendous capturability as far as getting everything flushed into the lagoons and not just, you know, taking on a lot of groundwater. So the results have been super positive. The contractor we're working with right now is out of Salem, and fiscally speaking, it's very affordable to do. And we've seen really big positive results.
Cool.
So you just put epoxy on the covers?
Yeah, and it's not a paint, it's a sprayed on 2-inch, well, that's a bit exaggerated, but about a 1-inch thick epoxy coating on all these manholes
And then the
inside.
water just goes somewhere else?
So a lot of times, you know, I don't have a diagram in front of me. What we're getting is you have old cement with a lot of groundwater that Yamhill has. And pretty soon they just kind of spring leaks. All the concrete just finds, you know, water finds least resistance. So we're taking on all that groundwater. It's not just sewer. I mean, high peak, you're looking at anywhere between 600 to 800,000. You know, that's a lot for those lagoons to take on, but there again, you know, they've been managed appropriately, but now we're tackling the I&I issue. So it's been good.
Does it still happen like now when it's not raining?
It does. It does. Yeah. And our deeper we just did one on Poplar that's, you know, it's deep. I mean, we're talking 18 feet deep. That takes a lot of groundwater, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Why they put it there, I do not know.
That seems
but,
bizarre.
Yeah. So, yeah, that one took on a lot. We just got done epoxy coating that one yesterday. So, yeah,
Geez, I got a well at my farm. It's not that deep.
yeah, so I mean, some of these are.
Store water in it.
We can step, have we looked at that as a water source for the city?
That's right next to it.
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, along with that, I mean, shoot, as far as project wise, we're getting ready to close up the intake project too. The screen has been modified to a degree. We're working with Solid Form to kind of finish up all the manufacturing on that, and we should have that in our hands probably there again, latter part of August for install. I know that was.
Do we have a permit window that we're worried about?
No, we do not. I talked to our engineers and we are good to go with the permit we currently have, so we won't have to revisit that.
That
Yeah.
is good.
Yep. Other than that, no, I mean, not a lot to report on outside of the report and just a couple little tidbits with the water and collection system, so.
Cool, thanks.
You're welcome.
And as always.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, go
sorry.
ahead.
One last really cool thing. So I reached out to ODOT, our rep here. And we on Monday are gonna be going over the install for the reflective or rapid blinking light for 240 for the kids.
Nice.
That one's
Up at that elementary, at that middle school, brother.
yes. And
Beautiful.
that one sounds like a slam dunk.
And that's the one we already own. We already, that's,
We have them,
Yep.
yeah, fully
we're
equipped.
just waiting for ODOT to say turn it
Yeah,
on.
and it sounds like they're about to green light it, because they're gonna let us kind of slow pitch that one and then we'll
Tackle the next one as it comes.
tackle the next one, correct?
Beautiful, good job, man.
Yeah, so that's
That's been a long battle.
it has,
Yeah,
it has, unfortunately, but we're there come Monday.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'll keep everybody informed on that. So that was my last.
All right, well, as usual, if you would like to hang out with us, you know, you're always
Yeah.
welcome to.
I'm
You don't have to.
gonna hang tough. for it.
All right, okay. So moving along, then, we are looking at the planning commissions. Before Angie has got that for tonight.
Planning Commission didn't have a meeting last week, but they do have a lot going on in the upcoming for the rest of the year. So they are gonna be working on the Parks Master Plan, this next month. I'm sorry, not this next month, but the Parks Master Plan, they have that, or scheduled for August, but this next month, we will be talking about the temporary dwelling code and the downtown design code. And this is just the introduction. And then move into, in August, maybe drafts of the downtown design with the hearing for the Parks Master Plan. And then, going into historic regulations and the transportation system plan also on their plate. So they will have, a full plate coming up.
Cool. That would move us along to Economic Development Committee.
I'm here to report on our meeting that was on July 7th, and we had a walkabout with certified arborists from the Urban Forestry Department, 2 women who are experts in urban forestry, and we talked about locations and ideas for types of trees to be put along, starting with the south side of Maple. And, pardon me?
West.
Sorry, yes, sorry. I knew as soon as I said that, I was like, no, that's not right. I do know my direction.
Sorry.
Anyway, thank you. That side. And what appears to be feasible with types of trees in the space that we have is 8 to 9 trees with the space allotment of 2.5 by 3 feet width of a cutout. And then with those 8 to 9 trees also would be an additional, so smaller trees, the awnings and visibility at the corners and so on. And we talked about perhaps putting in a larger tree between the Larson House A1 logging building and the Sapphire building. So that as a potential pocket park, which is something that the Yamhill Downtown Association has talked to the owners of both sides about, like having that be kind of a nice small spot to make pleasant, you know, with trees and seating or whatever. So that's kind of what we discussed. They will be able to provide recommendations for, you know, the trees. They're going to come back with us, the care, surface cover, whether it's bricks or whatever on there, best management practices and so on. And so the thing that was especially exciting, I think, was that they can come and actually help when we proceed with getting the funding, making the decision and going ahead with, you know, having the planting, that they can actually help with that. And so if that can be something that's put together with it's a community project, they can actually get there and, you know, literally dig in and help. So another thing that they mentioned was for us to consider, and we'll do this with the EDC, designating Yamhill as Tree City USA. You guys may have seen other towns that have this on their signs, and it doesn't have to be just the trees that are planted downtown, but could take in consideration Gene Heinrich Park, Beulah Park, all the locations. And so that could be something that could add just another boost to the town and with our overall, you know, vision and, you know, the image that we're, you know, putting together. So that's what we talked about there. And that was a kind of what do we call that? The type of meeting that we had. We had just a.
You want to talk about funding and grants?
So funding and grants. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
So if she did, then it would have been in a report, so.
Yeah, no, yeah. So we're working on, so obviously this needs to be funded and there's grants to explore for that, but. So subcommittee meeting, or subheading of the Economic Development Committee is the Yamhill Downtown Association providing reports. And what I neglected to do was to share. So we do have an event coming up. And this is what I wanted to get on okay, is it August 22nd? August 22nd? Maybe this will work out, but it's behind the Larson House, so it's on the private property back there. Jam Hill.
Just for future, we have to get those handed in a week before the meeting so that it can.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm
we need to-
sorry. Well,
we need to preserve it.
hand those out. I could just.
No, you're good. They're already up, so we just have, she has to maintain that for public record.
Sorry,
No, you're good.
I can just talk about it.
Yeah,
Turn it over, pretend like you never saw it.
no, we're gonna,
Okay, so the event, so I just want to make sure that it's just on everybody's awareness. So what we are trying to do with the Yamhill Downtown Association is to, bring people in and come up with ways to showcase the town. And so what we're doing is the first annual Jam Hill.
who came up with the name Jam Hill? Because it's wonderful.
My husband. So we've got musicians all kind of in our family and the YDA and extended friends. And so we've had a couple of party events on our property outside of town called Jam Hill, where you play music, and then there's like an open jam session. So it's been very small, but because it's been a really fun event, the Yamhill Downtown Association thought that this could be a good thing to pull people together, to have it starting with the Larson, backyard of the Larson house, eventually move on to, Jane Heinrich Park or Beulah Park or whatever. So down the line. But the idea to bring people into town or also showcase local talent who want to have a set. We have open mic time and then a community jam session. Additionally, the school district we've got a new music teacher coming for band, and that's intermediate and high school. And so we are working with the school district to support that. And so some of the funds that we can raise, we're gonna have a raffle. This is a free event, but money to go towards the band program and towards like instrument repair. We toured, there's so many wonderful instruments. You guys probably remember the fabulous program that used to be here. It was just incredible. So after all the ups and downs and the people retiring, and so the Yamhill Downtown Association feels it's important to get behind the school efforts for the band, and just kind of nudge that along. So that is part of what this is about as well. And then ideally, what we want to do is help support a community pet band, maybe marching band down the line, and then be able to play at like the football games and just other events. So adults and the kids, so kind of have the community aspect as well as the kids. So this is to raise awareness and then just bring people here. And ideally down the line is to have people come hang out in Yamhill for a Saturday and frequent the businesses and enjoy themselves. So that's what's happening there. So please come. And if you play anything, you can sign up for a open mic session or jam.
I love it.
Okay, thank you.
Start a band.
Got your instrument still?
Yeah, we gotta start the band.
Might go there with Louis.
All right. All right, so moving on. So do we have anything, did any council turn in reports?
I just have something to bring up that I think we could talk about and then maybe provide Chief Graven with some direction
I
or
think
ask him.
this would be the time to do it, I suppose.
The golf carts, and the e-bikes and e-scooters, they are speeding through intersections that are four-way stops. They're being driven by people that clearly are not of age to have a driver's license. There's no liability insurance for any of these people running around if they were to pull off, scratch my car as they drive by, which they drive past my cars daily, multiple times a day. And probably anybody else that lives in town. There's other towns that have ordinances You look at Detroit, they allow their side by sides and golf carts. You have a draft ordinance? Okay, so there's ones that have ordinances, they have to provide proof of insurance.
Mhm.
There's $30 a UTV license that you can take that anytime you're driving a UTV off on public property, you're supposed to have that. We could require that as part of our ordinance. That
Yeah.
they have a driver's license and they have insurance. I just don't want to see somebody get hurt and we're on borrowed time asking for people to pay attention and not watching some kid go around a corner without stopping or slowing down. They're gonna get smacked one of these days and somebody's gonna be hurt.
You can insure a golf cart.
You can insure a golf cart. I did call and check on that. You can insure it in two different ways. You can insure it as a vehicle, or you can also insure it through your homeowner's insurance. Through the homeowner's insurance, Oregon has a minimal liability or minimum liability amount. And so just with your insurance agent, you can make sure that that is covered.
So it wouldn't, probably wouldn't be hard to do either.
You can do it in just a couple of minutes over the phone, according to, well, I called our insurance company and asked. So this does allow penalties for state, federal traffic, and local traffic laws, parent and guardian responsibility, liability for damage, rules and regulations, including things like title, registration, driver's license. Also does allow for a minor with a learner's permit and then an adult, which we're going to adjust to put in there that has a driver's license. All the speed limit restrictions for each type of vehicle. Oddly towing, you cannot tow anything with your golf cart. Anyway, so it's quite in depth, and I think that we will have this ready to be sent out to council before the next meeting, and maybe we can discuss it at the next meeting in detail.
Can I add to that, Bjorn?
Of course.
Okay, so I took it upon myself to go through and find state guidelines, laws, whatever you want to call them, in regards to the golf carts, the scooters, the electric bikes, the mopeds, the mini bikes, or mini motorcycles, all of that kind of thing. And I typed it up. And then there's a additional short version with the Oregon statute numbers and all that on it. So I spoke with the mayor today, and he has allowed me to go ahead, and I will make copies of those, and I am going to distribute them to every household in the city. And it's got age limits, all of that kind of thing associated with all of these different little.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of police
things.
departments that have very good charts about that. And part of the safety aspect is if a kid is riding with one of those little, $10, $15 Walmart bike helmet, but he's going 25, 30 miles an hour and hits another car going that same
Yeah,
speed.
that's not what that
That
helmet.
helmet is not designed for that. That helmet is designed for a pedal bicycle and not one of those e-bikes. And unfortunately, our DOT regulations haven't matched up to those speeds that those electronic devices are going. And, they're a fun toy for the kid, but you have to do it in a safe spot. And, people are going over to your neck of the woods where they're passing by mine to get over there, but that's, less travel, a smoother street, so that's more fun, right? But in that, there's a lot of dangers, and I don't want to see anybody getting
Oh,
hurt.
yeah, no, I've gotten multiple calls and texts with pictures from residents complaining big time about all of these. So that's what prompted me to do all of this. And like I say, I'll make sure it goes to everybody.
If you wanted, and I did review what she's talking about, and they're actually, it's cited to ORS and stuff like that. So it's not like Patty set of rules
Right.
for the community, because we frown upon that. Patty, if you include that, we're gonna frown on that. But then maybe we could have a work session at some point, maybe in August, where if we wanted to take that up. Additional
Yeah, I'd be
rules, or we could, maybe I'll send this out and you can get back to the city recorder to see if if anybody wants to have a work session or make adjustments or to the ordinance or whatever.
there a way to like hear from the people and families that have these too?
Sure, I mean,
I don't know how.
so likely it would happen in August, whether it would happen before the next meeting. But there's some folks in town, Mr. Davis's wife being one, has asked for a town hall style meeting. And maybe that could be something that could be brought up there. We can get some feedback from,
Like if you announce ahead of time that that's gonna be,
that could be a topic that was discussed, yeah.
and that we're not just looking for people complaining, but
Mhm.
also both sides of the.
Both sides of the thing, and I think that also that would be an excellent opportunity for the candidates for council. To have an opportunity to speak to and maybe have some people get to know some people and so forth like that, so.
We could draft some surveys too, that are like, does your family own one of these devices? And if so, then here's, do they have, what type of helmet do they have? What
Yes.
license do they have? What safety course have they ever taken? I mean, I doubt that most of these parents have even taken their kid and put some cones and actually seen how they can maneuver and turn or
They've not.
stop suddenly, right? Like,
Yeah.
they're not thinking that safety thing.
Would you want to be able to could you put something like that briefly together, just even handwritten?
I
and
can
maybe
draft some like,
Provided to
some
Pam
questions.
Hirsch? That would be an excellent place to do,
oh yeah. she
on the
could
Yamhill
totally-
Town community page, to do that survey.
Yeah.
And then maybe as a part of that, that's where we can ask the question if somebody wanted to attend a town hall in regards.
So some people may not want to answer the question or may not want to talk, but they might be willing to check a couple of boxes.
For sure. I don't know if we do that, we'd have to notice that as a public meeting if we were gonna do that.
I think it's a good idea. I really do. Have a town hall.
If we were to
meeting.
have a town hall and have us all be there.
Yep,
That's correct.
Yeah.
And at ordinance, also hearings would be noticed as well. If
Mhm.
you were going to pass an ordinance, that would go out to the
Yes.
public for them to show up if they have any grievances regarding the ordinance that was about to be passed.
Could you, if you did a town hall, could you have the draft without it being an actual hearing? Because it could just be a draft for them to like review and talk about.
That's what the purpose of the hearing is.
Mhm.
It is.
Well, I was meaning for, if we're having,
you mean the town hall?
if you're having your town hall, have your potential candidates be talking, it wouldn't be us necessarily too,
Yeah.
right?
We can work the details.
Yeah.
This just, this is a good idea, it's something to start. But we don't have to sort it now. That would move us on to new business. Which, and I assume that this can be read by title only.
Yeah.
Where are we?
So we are on to new business, the draft resolution.
That is correct.
So the next up would be DR 26-08 resolution R 2026-84X. The resolution initiating the update and adoption of the 2026 through 46 City of Yamhill Comprehensive Park System Master Plan to supersede the previous master plan adopted by resolution R 578 in 2004. Can I get a motion? Yes,
If you just could leave out the resolution part, just the draft resolution, because we're not gonna assign it a number until after it's adopted.
so scratch resolution part and just consider it DR 2608. Can I get a motion?
Which part are we supposed to scratch?
We are scratching
Just
the
the word?
resolution part. Yep, the resolution and the numbers to follow. So this is just draft resolution 26-08. And then the rest of the title.
But without.
So as it reads here. So I was reading it off the packet.
Okay, I make a motion to approve draft resolution 2608, resolution initiating the update and adoption of the Yamhill Comprehensive Park System Master Plan to supersede the previous Parks Master Plan adopted by resolution R 578 in 2004.
Do we have a second?
Before I second, just to clarify, this just gives us the framework and the the pathway, basically, and we can,
Instructing staff to move forward.
modify or choose to leave out pieces and do what's best for the community going forward. We don't have to take every single aspect.
Oh,
of
if we pass this 110% and say this is our jam, and then tomorrow decide we're not gonna do any of it, we're gonna do it slightly different or a lot different or completely different,
Right.
that's completely up
Cause
to
it's
us.
all, I mean, it says in there that it's like 30 to 50% plus minus on all of those numbers, and it's millions of dollars worth of numbers. So-
100%.
And there's clearly things that we wouldn't have to spend 30,000 that his guys could spend 5,000 and.
We can never touch any of that and just buy them a push mower and call it even.
Okay. I second what he said.
Fantastic. In which case, can we have a vote?
Featherston, I.
Sarah and I.
Corrigan, aye. Passes unanimously and gets moved along. That brings us down to information announcement and for good of the order. Derby Days, 17th and 18th, it's this weekend. 6:30, I think the booth's open on Friday night. Is that right? 5 o'clock? Nice, 5 o'clock. And then the parade starts at 10. The next day, and then of course, all the good things at Derby Days. I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have anything that we missed or overlooked? We did lots of stuff in an hour and
Vendors
11
open
minutes.
11 on Saturday and the music starts at 7:30.
How late's it go?
How late?
Yeah, on Saturday, Friday and Saturday.
It goes till everybody leaves.
Get till chief kicks
And
us
then they
out.
migrate down.
Well, I never stay that late, so.
Well, then who cares? Just
Goes till the next morning.
It goes till you need to go to sleep.
Normal bands play 4 hours, so if they start at 7:30, it would be.
All right.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
You know, that'd be so cool. What if you did?
I make a motion, we adjourn.